The topic of accessibility is important to me because I've worked in it for 20 years. Even as a young man, my mother took me to special education classes, and even as a young child, I was working with adults with disabilities. So I got used to it, and it became like my normal. Ever since then, my whole career has been based around working with specialist technology. But we're now at a phase in development now where big companies such as Microsoft are really starting to take accessibility seriously. So where else should I go? I mean, now is the era of accessibility being at the top table of the largest technology companies in the world. So we can make a big global difference now. Previously in my career, we've always been reliant on small companies changing the world and doing it bit by bit. Now, accessibility is right at the top of the new Industrial 4.0 revolution in the world, in digital transformation. So accessibility, how can accessibility not be important in that? We know that now is the time that we're going to share what we're doing with the rest of the world quicker and easier and faster. Now is the chance that we can make a big difference to global accessibility as opposed to just the markets where disability is taken seriously. People think, how can an activist be working inside Microsoft, or somebody who's this passionate about accessibility? But honestly, I'm not as passionate as some of the developers. Many of the developers that are in our teams designing the products now are using the accessibility features, and they're the ones designing our accessibility features. So I love accessibility. Yeah, I do think it's political. I don't think you can avoid, accessibility as a civil right, and the internet access as a human right. I don't think you can avoid talking about it in those terms. But to suggest that I'm the most that way within Microsoft would be far from the truth. There are some real activists in Microsoft really promoting accessibility. So the next goal for accessibility is to normalize accessibility, in my view. This is a personal view. But for many years, we've all been sharing documents and printed out documents within our offices, within our schools. Nowadays, teachers, people in the workplace, they're emailing their documents out. They're emailing them to businesses and departments where they don't know that the people that they're emailing their documents to, whether they have disabilities or not. So there's becoming a social responsibility to send accessible documents out. That's my big love at the moment, is teaching people that there is such a thing as an accessible document. We do have a duty to make sure that anything we send out over the cloud, through the internet, is accessible, because the world is getting smaller because of technology. So the things I get most excited about might be a bit boring, is just normalizing accessibility. Other things that are in the future that I'm starting to get excited about, I would say, are machine learning. Now think about children with cognitive disabilities. They're reliant on somebody telling them where they've got to and changing their learning according to what they've seen that they were able to do. In the future, the computer will work out that they've passed this level, like a computer game, they've passed this level, and let's take them up to the next stage of the learning, and that should become automatic. And it shouldn't be reserved for kids of normal ability. This should be across all of humankind. So machine learning, huge. The other thing I would say to you is VR and augmented reality. We've all seen how Pokemon Go is, we all suddenly know what augmented reality is. Now start to think about how we could use that with disability to give people social cues, to give them scripts to follow when they're learning to communicate in general public, to give them confidence and security through augmented reality. Things like signposts that can be on your phone so that you can see them even if you cannot see the mainstream signpost. There are so many things that we can do with that type of technology. You've got to get excited about it, but we need to make sure that accessibility is right in at the start of this journey.